Hi everyone. I don't know if you remember, a couple of weeks ago I promised you guys that I would share my recipe for curry. So here I am today in my kitchen with Boo, my sous chef, and I'm going to cook that curry in your presence. I'm also going to speak more about body image part 2 because that video I did on body image and wellness trajectory and speaking about my own personal wellness trajectory, it got a lot of feedback with a lot of questions from many of you. So I want to touch on some of that, but I'll talk about that as the curry is cooking because I'm going to show you from scratch. And what I'm making today is a vegan coconut curry. And I hope I've prepped all the ingredients because, you know, I had to kind of mentally walk through everything because I didn't want it to be that suddenly in the middle I'm going, oh my God, I forgot this ingredient, and I'd have to go digging around my kitchen for it. So I prepped everything, and hopefully we can pull this off because it's the first time I'm doing this. So bear with me if there are glitches and I make mistakes and stuff. So Abby, my wonderful and beautiful assistant Abby, is here. I've invited her to stay for dinner. We're going to have this curry for our dinner, and she is behind the scenes. And so if you have comments, questions, she can shout them out to me.
Okay, all done.
All done already, Boo?
Yep.
Great, thank you.
I know what I'm doing.
Oh, great, thank you, darling. So the thing is, Danny and I, we both love to cook, but I have to admit, he is great at chopping, peeling, dicing, cleaning, all of those things. And even though I do those things, they're not my forte. My forte is in actually flavoring, and I don't use recipes. I just do what feels and what calls to me. I just make it up, and so I have so this recipe that it doesn't exist anywhere. It's my own vegan curry, and it's not like totally Indian or Thai or anything. It's just a mixture. So the first thing I do, and I want to say that I always love to use gas fire stovetop. I feel that I'm very familiar with the amount of heat it gives and what it does, so I always prefer that over a glass top or a convection or any other type. So because I really feel the heat gets right through. The other thing I do is I tend to use cast iron, and I like cast iron because it really heats all the way through, and it heats very quickly. I don't use, Teflon and things like that because they tend to get into the food. I start with coconut oil, and I like to use a generous amount because I love the flavor of coconut oil. And I try and buy like the best quality that I can. I am quite particular about the quality of the food I buy. Sometimes when you eat out, you don't have a choice, you don't have the control, So when I'm buying food for myself, so even though I don't have the control over what you're being served when you go out, I like to eat super healthy when I'm at home so that it mitigates the stuff. So then your body has the capacity, or it has the resources to handle if you've eaten things that that are maybe more uncontrollable, where the ingredients are not controllable. The other thing I wanted to mention, again, just based on questions you guys have asked me, is that you ask, like, what do we eat at home? And we eat a very broad range of cuisines, and I mean very broad. Like, we'll eat Indian, Thai, Italian, Chinese, all of them, American if there's such a cuisine. So we do eat a very broad range of cuisines, and we're very open to trying new cuisines. Okay, so the oil looks like it's getting pretty hot. The first ingredient I put in to the curry is chopped onions. See, pretty quickly it starts to sizzle. It's because of the cast iron. And I like to put a lot of onions in my food. My kitchen is not big, it's a very humble kitchen, but it's very workable. Cooking for me is really relaxing. Okay, so at this point, while the onions are sauteing, I'm going to add actually some garlic as well. So we've got onions and garlic going. I want to tell you the super secret ingredient of my food. But I'm going to share with you, even though it's a secret, I'm still going to share with you what it is. The mainest ingredient is my energy. And of course, my energy is my energy, so no one can replicate it. And your energy is your energy, and that's what you infuse into your food. And because my energy goes into my food, one thing I make sure of when I'm cooking is that I make sure that I'm super happy. And what I haven't done yet now, and I would have done this already, I would have started this 10, 20, 30 minutes ago, I always have happy music going on when I'm cooking. Always, always, always. And if I'm doing the chopping and the dicing and the mincing, I have the happy music going on like while I'm doing all of that. So that happy feeling is just getting ingested into the food. I don't cook without music. It's just my thing. It gets my vibe really high, and I know that it gets infused into the food. And that's important to me. I don't like eating at restaurants where everybody looks really unhappy, where the waiters are really grumpy and look like they don't want to be there. For me, the energy is actually pretty important. So I'm just going to add a little bit more oil, coconut oil, and I probably have to get another jar out of the cupboard. See, I wasn't prepared. I didn't check how much there was in here.
Do you need more? Do you want me to get Danny to get you more?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, because this is going to go pretty dry once I add the curry spices. And once I add the curry spices, and then when I add so just to let you know, I've already pre-mixed my spices, my curry spices, and what's in here is you can get them from any, pretty much any good grocery store that has Asian ingredients. So the main one is you can just get a good basic curry powder. But what I do is I add to my curry powder, I add things like powdered cumin, powdered coriander, I add some maybe red chili powder and a few things like that. But the important thing about these ingredients is you don't just throw them in at the end, and that's a big mistake that many people make when they're cooking curries, is that they just throw it in at the end. You have to actually cook these spices. You actually have to saute it with the onions. And what's really important in a good curry, what's really important is the order the ingredients go in. And again, a lot of people don't place enough importance on that. They just put all the ingredients in at the same time. You can't do that. You have to really get the flavors to burst through. You really have to cook the spices before you add everything else, the vegetables and everything else. The spices really have to burst through. Thank you. Oh, look at this. Now this is a good size of coconut oil, considering how much we use. I'm pretty generous with the coconut oil because I actually believe that coconut oil is an anti-inflammatory. There you go. Thank you, Donna. So now, while this is cooking, I'm going to ask you to write in the comments I want you to guess what are some of the songs on my happy song playlist. And write that in the comments, and then I'm just going to grab my iPad and play you just a few bars of each. Technically, we're not allowed to play music on my videos because it kind of because of copyright reasons. So I'm going to grab my iPad.
Oh, someone said Dancing Queen. Is that on your playlist?
Of course it's on my playlist.
How could it not be?
How could it not be, exactly.
Oh, I can see clearly now.
Oh, you know what? That's very perceptive because it used to be on my old playlist.
Oh.
But it isn't on the current one. Okay, so here's one. I'm going to give you the first few bars. Any guesses?
No guesses yet, but we've seen other people suggesting Three Little Birds by Bob Marley, Ain't No Mountain High Enough as songs that might be on your
shall
playlist.
I play a bit more of this one? Or do you think Facebook will take me off if I do that? Okay, I better not play it, but it's Karma Chameleon by Culture Club. The next one is,
yep.
Somebody got it. This is the next one on my playlist.
Obviously.
This is the third one. And then this is the next one.
That one just gave itself away
I
very quickly.
know, it did. And then this one, yeah, those are just some of the songs. And so I'm usually bopping away to music while I'm cutting, chopping, cooking. And for me, that's a must. That's my secret ingredient. I don't cook without music. But for the sake of this video, I will. Okay, so this is ready for my next ingredients. You can put whatever vegetables you want, whatever takes your fancy. I love zucchini, so I put a ton of zucchini. And it's going to be a big curry. And I love broccoli, but this is all mixed vegetables. So there's a whole bunch of broccoli, there's carrots, there's squash, there's water chestnut, there's green beans, there's green peppers, red peppers. It's all in there, okay? So then what I do is I start to mix this to see if I can get it all coated with that curry. And I'm going to turn the fire down and just mix it all in, Now I've already had the rice going, so what I've made on the side is I've made some basmati rice. And I've had that going on a separate flame. I started that long before I started this video. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add some real cardamoms and cloves into this, as well as into the basmati rice. Basmati rice is the long grain rice. So this video is actually going to be a fairly long video because we have to wait for the food to get cooked. And
People are saying they can smell it from their houses already.
Oh, that's
Smells
amazing!
great.
Oh, that's amazing. So I'm going to add salt now. I am a little liberal with the salts, and so if you have an issue with high sodium, please don't use as much salt as I do. But it tastes better. Like, I don't put this much salt in everything, but if I want something to really pop in flavor, I will put a little extra salt. So I put 3 teaspoons of salt in this.
That's a big curry, though. It's a big pot.
I actually want to go 4. My intuition is telling me 4. I'm going to do it.
You are the chef.
Yeah, I'm going to follow my intuition. I know how important that is. I think I was doing 3 for your benefit, meaning the audience, and you guys tuning in, like, oh, some of you may have issues with sodium, everyone goes low salt, but no.
But that's everyone listening to their own intuition and listening to their own body, too.
Yeah, I'm going to just go with what's going to make this taste yummy. And remember, all the ingredients in here are super healthy. And if you don't want to eat rice because it's high glycemic, a really good substitute that I use sometimes is buckwheat. And you cook buckwheat the same way you cook rice. You've got 1 cup of buckwheat to 2 cups of water, add a little bit of olive oil or something and a bit of salt and bring it to boil and let it simmer until it's fully cooked. And it gives you the same texture as rice, or similar texture as rice, but much lower glycemic. So recently, in the last year or so, maybe a little longer, I have learned to cook and eat what is super supportive and healthy for my body. I listen to my body a lot more, like a lot more. And many of you know this, I've spoken about it in past videos where I did kind of go through burnout, and I know why it happened. But it was a gift because it made me really tune into my body. And that's what I plan to keep doing. Okay, so here I've got shelled cardamoms and some cloves. So I'm going to put a bunch here in this, just give it a bit of added flavor. But I'm also going to throw a bunch into the basmati rice, which I've pre-cooked here. And I'll mix it in and I reheat the rice. Okay, so now we actually have to leave this for a few minutes. The longer we leave it, the better. Until all the vegetables have kind of soaked up the curry flavor. I'm just going to cover it, turn it down a little. It's going to release a lot of fluid, which is going to make it tastier. And then the last thing I'm going to do is to add coconut milk, which is really yummy. So, you know, when I did the last video on body image, I literally just touched on the subject. But I spoke about the curry, which is what got me here to make this curry. One of the things about speaking about body image, it's not a subject that I'm fully, I don't know how to say this exactly. When I speak about it, I feel very vulnerable. It's not a subject that I feel comfortable speaking about. However, I have been getting this nudge, which I know is from my grandmother, my deceased granny, paternal granny, who I've spoken about in past videos and said, I've told you I feel that she's there and she's guiding me. And she has been pushing me to speak about this, and she has said that it will actually help a lot of people if I touch on this more and more. So I'm gently easing into this subject. Why does it make me feel uncomfortable to talk about body image? Because when you talk, whatever you talk about, people are going to scrutinize that in you. It's just the way it is. When you talk about something, so that means that people are going to scrutinize me, and I don't like it when people, you know, it just makes me feel uncomfortable when people kind of scrutinize me and what I look like and my body. But I noticed that over the last year or so, a lot of people have been asking me out of concern, because I know I love you guys, and I know you guys love me, but many people out of concern have actually commented and asked me, how come I'm losing weight, and am I okay? And because I was burned out and I was doing less videos, people said, are you okay? Are you well? And I actually really, really appreciated all of that. I really did, because I knew it was coming from a place of concern. So I wanted people to know that I did go to see holistic practitioners, and I did actually get my life on track. But what started me on this journey is that I did not feel like I was in my body anymore. That was the big thing. I felt that I was no longer connected to my body. I felt like my body was alien to me, and this was perhaps a year ago or so. I felt that I was almost like I was starting to become a victim to whatever my body decided to do. And I didn't feel that it was my soul expressing through this body. It felt like it was two different entities. And one of the reasons why this happened was because I forgot to love my physical body. I was tuned in to the other side, but here's where my downfall was. Because I was so sensitive, or am super sensitive, I was more sensitive to the needs of other people than I was to my own needs. I forgot my own needs again. And because the world was in so much pain and fear, and we were being bombarded by this pain and fear, like I mean totally bombarded by pain and fear, from the media and everything that was going on starting the beginning of 2020. And people, so for the first year, I was just churning out videos, and I was helping people, and I was appearing on interviews, and I was really doing a lot. And what happened though, and this is great, I want to be able to do a lot. I still have a lot of things I want to do. But I was forgetting my own needs, and I started to feel everybody else's fear and pain and discomfort in my own body. I started to actually take on other people's problems and illnesses. And for a little bit, I even started to lose hope, you know, in humanity and life. So that really started to get to me, and I found it really hard to appear on video, but not just that, but I was manifesting all these symptoms, and I was wondering, like, why am I manifesting these symptoms? And I was seeing different doctors and practitioners, but I just continued to connect with the other side, and I realized that what had happened was that, you know, when you're somebody who is intuitive and you're an empath, you literally have one foot on each side. You're here in the physical, but you are very connected to the other side. And what a lot of people who are intuitive, a mistake that they make, is that they forget that they are also a physical being, and they pay too much attention to listening, to being focused on the other side. And this is what I did. I had paid no attention to my own needs and my own physical body and the needs of my body. I put that aside as if it wasn't important. What I actually want to tell you is, there's a few things that I want to tell you which I really learned from this little episode, is that your physical body is really important. You have to love it. It's not selfish, it's not vain. You have to love your physical body. It's super important because you have one and you're here. Even if you are someone that feels, oh, I'm really spiritual and I'm more about other people and less about me, this is the problem, is when you start to do that, your body can start to maybe break down or let you down because it starts to get neglected. And I'm not saying this from a place of fear. I'm actually saying this from a place of love, because sometimes even when we do things for other people and when we overdo it, we actually are coming from the place of fear. We're coming from their fear. We bought into their fear, and that's what's affecting our body. So that's what I'm trying to say here. So here's what I had to do, which in the beginning did feel selfish, but I had to do it, and it has helped me phenomenally. I'm not even going to go as far as to say it saved my life, because I went through a period of thinking, oh, maybe I am coming to the end of my life. Maybe I have had enough of being here, and maybe it is getting almost time for me to go across to the other side. But I realized, no, it's not. I kept having conversations with the other side, and they're like, no, we're going to present you with all the right people to help you through this. This is just going to be something else that gives you more content to move forward and help other people. And so I kept going. I changed my diet and everything, and I realized that even though we are connected to the other side, we have to physically love our bodies, and we have to love ourselves more than other people. And this is the part that made me feel selfish. Even if other people were suffering, and if I knew how to elevate my energy and go and laugh and have fun, I had to do it. And this is the part. It made me feel selfish when other people were suffering, and that I did not go down into their suffering with them, but actually chose to do something that made me feel happy. That was the biggest challenge that I had, but I had to overcome that. And when I did work on that, and I worked on that with practitioners like Erica Barantes, you know, through neuroemotional technique, there are other ways to do it, but The first step is awareness that you have this tendency to step into the pain with everyone else, even when you are suffering, and that you feel it's selfish to do what brings you joy. When you realize that, a big light bulb moment will go off, or you'll suddenly realize, oh, that's why. That is the reason why my body was suffering. And once I was able to get a handle on that, things shifted, things changed. Now let me tell you another thing. As we get older, we do start to neglect ourselves. Because the other thing that was going through my mind is, maybe this happens when it's my age. It's normal. I'm not young anymore. Here's the thing. When I shifted that, I started to feel like I was shape-shifting. It changed me. I feel better than I did 10 years ago. I really do. And so the reason I want to share this and tell you that you can change anytime, and it's not as hard as you think. You can reverse things. If you're dealing with a health challenge, you can reverse it. And why it's important for me to share it is because there are a lot of people, I think also particularly women, there are a lot of women who neglect themselves once they have kids and grandkids, and they feel that their life is kind of over and they live for everyone else. But when they feel their life is over, that's when they develop all these symptoms. You don't have to live like that. I want you to know, I'm 63 years old, and I thought that I had to just accept that oh, this is how it is from here. It's downhill from now. It's weird because I actually feel better than I do 10 years ago. That's why I think my granny was really, really pushing me to share this, because she said a lot of people my age, and maybe, women who've already been through menopause and all, will feel like I'm helping them, or will feel inspired that they don't have to live with whatever symptoms, and they can reverse it, and their bodies are magical. That's what I want to remind you of. Your bodies are really, really magical, and you can shift it, not just through food. So the other piece I want to tell you, to me, the food and all is the secondary piece. The primary piece is the loving yourself. Whatever you're dealing with, love yourself through what you're dealing with. It's not a case of, I'll love myself more when I'm well, or when I've lost weight, or whatever it is. Love yourself right now, wherever you are, whatever you look like, whatever health challenge you're going through, because you tend to help people who you love more than you help people who you hate or don't love. So when you don't love yourself, when you hate yourself, when you despise yourself, you're less likely to help yourself. So start with loving yourself wherever you are. Meet yourself where you are right now. And remember, whatever you're dealing with, it's not a battle. I hate it when people say that, oh, I have to battle cancer, or I won that battle. It's not a battle. Your body and its symptoms are not battles to be fought. Your body is to be loved. You heal through love. Love, love, love. I had to love my physical body at whatever shape it was in order to help it to transform into where I started to feel myself. I didn't feel connected. Now I feel connected. I feel that I am becoming more of who I am. I had started to lose myself during that time. So those are some of the things that I want to leave you with. Oh, just one final thing actually before I go back to the curry. A lot of people said, because I talk about functional medicine, they said they can't afford it. I get that, because that drives me crazy how you can claim insurance for pharmaceuticals, like as many pharmaceuticals as you want. And it also drives me crazy that unhealthy food is so much cheaper than healthy food. It's almost like there's a plan in place to make you sick and unhealthy, and to make the pharmaceutical companies richer and richer. So that is a trigger for me, but that's a topic for a whole other video. So let's not go down that road right now. I just want to give you some tips on how you can stay healthy without spending a lot of money. One is just make better choices with what you eat. Choose fresher ingredients. The less the less ingredients something has, the better. In other words, choose whole foods, whole vegetables. We cook a lot of things from scratch now. We don't buy sauces. Eat lots of vegetables. The other thing is exercise a lot. And the biggest thing is stress. Stress is a big, causes a lot of inflammation in your body, raises blood pressure, raises blood sugar. Stress is a big one. Reduce stress, listen to music, laugh, play, dance, all of these things. So, and what I feel now is that because I'm focused on being happy myself, and believe me when I tell you, I am feeling really happy right now. I love my life, love what I do, I love all of you. I actually feel when we're happy, we're better able to help the planet than when we step down into the fear and the depression, because it's all energy, just like the energy we infuse in our food. It's all energy. We're bringing happy energy to the planet. Okay, thanks for listening. The curry should almost be done now. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to let the liquid go back in because we want liquid. And I'm just going to put you can focus on the curry and I'll just put the lid away. And the final piece de resistance is the coconut milk. So you can put as much or as little coconut milk as you want. And once I mix all this in, this is pretty much it. This is my vegan vegetable curry, and I am going to serve this on a bed of basmati rice. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put it together off camera and garnish it. And then I forgot one more thing. I forgot the Popadum. So I'm going to just throw that in real quick. You can get these probably at Indian provision stores. They're super easy to make. I cheat. You're supposed to put them on an open flame. I actually microwave them. And I want to say here, I don't use the microwave for anything else. So I know that some of you are going to say, how can you microwave your food? I don't microwave my food. It's so rare that I eat a Popadum. That is the only thing I microwave. So please don't chastise me for microwaving my food. It literally takes 30 seconds. Usually I move far away from the field of the microwave as it is microwaving. That will literally take 30 seconds and I'll show you what it looks like. And then we're actually going to serve the food so we can enjoy a really good dinner, and I'm going to share a photo with you of the food once it's done.
And we'll share the recipe as well.
Yes, we'll share the recipe online. Good idea. Wait, does anyone have any questions, comments that you'd like to share with me?
A lot of people are saying this is exactly what I needed to hear, and thank you for sharing. And yeah, just a lot of general positivity.
See, 30 seconds in the microwave, and this is what it looks like. Popadum. I'm so glad I hope you enjoyed the video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sticking with me, bearing with me, and I have loved you even during the time that I was burned out, and I'm so grateful for all of you. But I am back, and I am here, and I'm here with lots of new content, and thank you, love you.